One of the big questions for me around performing at your very best, being in flow, performing optimally, is how do you get there personally? So, and that might be different for different people, of course. Now, the Flow Genome Project, I've got a great free online diagnostic that takes barely a minute to fill out. I think you get the report back really quickly. And it's a typology, so it profiles you in one of 4 areas. And there's a bit of a gap here. It gives you the one profile that's dominant for you. What I'd be interested in is if that's one of my 4, how do I compare against the other 3? Because there might be one that was quite close in terms of being in 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. And because they vary at different times as well. Sometimes obviously in terms of your preferences and priorities, they'll shift around. But it identifies your main preference. They talk about the 4, and I would thoroughly recommend having a quick click on the link below to do that. So are you a hard charger? So in an environment like today, this is somebody who's mountain biking or out there physically finding that low level of flow. Are you a crowd pleaser? The crowd pleaser is the hands in the air person who tends to feed off other people in that physical environment that has other people in. The flow goer, which is a bit more of me really, the last 2 are a bit more me, is that's someone who's a bit more ease in their life and just kind of finds it in serenity, I guess. And certainly, this environment, that's where I get it. But equally, I love a hard charge every now and again. And I love doing it with other people every now and again. So this is the typology. So right now, I'd probably say I'm a bit more of a flow goer. And the other one, which I pretty close as well, is that deep thinker, that's someone who finds flow in deep thought, whether that is stimulated by something, a medium or a media, whether that's a book or a film or something like that, but finds that deep thought and deep insight. So it's a really important part. Now for me, what I would say there's the gaps I would like to think about is how do I stack up against 2, 3 and 4? If I come out on one which you can get from the profile really quickly, think about the other ones, because again, being in flow is about being flexible and thinking, okay, well, the weather or the equipment isn't right today for me to do what I need to do, so I can't hard charge, but I could easily, light the fire and read a book and go deep or flow go or whatever it might be, because you don't want to rely on one, because if you can't access one of those, then you wouldn't just say, well, I can't use the other 3. So you want to do that. Then the next bit for me, which I'm going to address in the probably part 2, I suppose, if I split this vlog up, is around how much do I have right now? How much flow do I have right now? It'd be nice to know, wouldn't it? How much do I have right now? This is how I find it, and how much have I got? Makes sense. Now, I think if you put the 2 together, that's really important information and data. You can, of course, do these at a later date to see if your access point, your on-ramp to flow changes, whether you're a hard charger now, because that's just, could be environmental, couldn't it? Because of the weather allows you to get out there and experience nature more so than perhaps different times of the year, or whatever it might be, circles and cycles of life. And equally, it'd be great if you can track, which you can, by doing the questionnaire again, which I'll talk about in a later vlog posting.